Jaya Radha Madhavan Jaya Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari. Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari. Yashoda Nandana Rajajana Rajana Yashoda Nandana Rajajana Rajana Yashoda Nandana Rajajana Ranjanya Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari. Yashoda Nandana Rajana Rajana Yashoda Nandana Rajana Rajana Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Rajana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja beat, standard beat. Don't change all the time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privajakacarya Astotra Tata Shri Srimad Nityalil Pravista Om His Divine Grace Shilavaya Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj ISKCON's BBT Founder Acharya Jagadguru Bhakti Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Acharya Astotra Tata Shri Srimad Nityalil Pravista Om His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Rajbhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ganga Maya Muna Maya Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani Brinda Devi Ki Samaveda Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai Prabhupada Transcendental Marathon Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi Haribol. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tojaya Mutiraye Nastabreshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtagi. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, Fundamental Principles of Material Nature, and am I correct, verse 61? Okay. Manasas Chandrama Jato Budhir Budher Giram Pati Ahankaras Tato Rudras Chitam Chaityas Tato Bhavat. Manasas Chandrama Jato Budhir Budher Giram Pati Ahankarasthato Rudras Chittam Chaityastato Bhavat. Manasas Chandrama Jato Budhir Budher Giram Pati Ahankarasthato Rudras Chittam Chaityastato Bhavat. Manasas Chandrama Jato Budhir Budher Giram Pati Ahankarasthato Rudras Chittam Chaityastato Bhavat. Please chant. Jato Budir Budir Girambadi Vastato Manasas Chandraman Jato Budir Budir Girambadi Tato Rudras Tato Baba Manasa from the mind, Chandrama, the moon, Jata, appeared, Buddhi, intelligence, Buddhe, from intelligence, Girambati, the Lord of speech, Brahma, Ahankara, false ego, Tata, then, Rudra, Lord Shiva, Chittam, consciousness, Chaitya, the deity presiding over consciousness. Tata, then, Abhavat, appeared. After the mind, the moon appeared. Intelligence appeared next, and after intelligence, Lord Brahma appeared. Then, the false ego appeared, and then Lord Shiva. And after the appearance of Lord Shiva came consciousness and the deity presiding over consciousness. Let us all say together, after the mind, the moon appeared. Intelligence appeared next. And after intelligence, Lord Brahma appeared. Then the false ego appeared. And then Lord Shiva. And after the appearance of Lord Shiva came consciousness and the deity presiding over consciousness. Purport by His Divine Grace, ISKCON's founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The moon appeared after the appearance of mind. This indicates that the moon is the presiding deity of mind. Similarly, Lord Brahma, appearing after intelligence, is the presiding deity of intelligence, and Lord Shiva, who appears after false ego, is the presiding deity of false ego. In other words, it is indicated that the moon god is in the mode of goodness, whereas Lord Brahma is in the mode of passion, and Lord Shiva is in the mode of ignorance. The appearance of consciousness after the appearance of false ego indicates that, from the beginning, material consciousness is under the mode of ignorance, and that one therefore has to purify himself by purifying his consciousness. This purificatory process is called Krishna consciousness. As soon as the consciousness is purified, the false ego disappears. Identification of the body with the self is called false identification or false ego. Lord Chaitanya confirms this in his Shashastika. He states that the first result of chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, is that dirt is cleared from the consciousness or the mirror of the mind, and then at once the blazing fire of material existence is over. The blazing fire of material existence is due to false ego, but as soon as the false ego is removed, one can understand his real identity. At that point, he is actually liberated from the clutches of Maya. As soon as one is freed from the clutches of false ego, his intelligence also becomes purified, and then his mind is always engaged upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared on the full moon day as Gaurachandra, or the spotless transcendental moon. The material moon has spots on it, but on the transcendental moon, Gaurachandra, there are no spots. In order to fix the purified mind in the service of the Supreme Lord, one has to worship the spotless moon, Gaurachandra. Those who are materially passionate, or those who want to exhibit their intelligence for material advancement in life, are generally worshippers of Lord Brahma, and persons who are in the gross ignorance of identifying with the body worship Lord Shiva. Materialists like Hiranyakashipu and unchecked cell phones, and Ravana are worshippers of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, but Prahlad and other devotees in the service of Krishna consciousness worship the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. Narada Muni, Narada Muni. Get from behind there, that low table, put it here, and I want two books. They're over there. Is the volume 3 of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and that blue Bhakti Vinod core big book with Saranagati and Gitabali in it. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unbalitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Smayam Rupaganamayam Dadati Svapanantigam Mandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakammalam Shri Guru and Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sadhujatam Sagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Thank you. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubias Jakripa Sindhubhyevacha Panidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpajrumada Srimad Ratnagara Singasanasto Srimad Radha Shilagovinda Devo Pestalabi Savyamano Smarami. In a temple of jewels underneath the desire trees of Vrindavan, seated upon an effulgent throne, the divine couple, Sri Sri Radha Govinda, are served by their most confidential associates. We beg to offer our respectful obeisances unto them. Manasas Chandrama Jato, Budhir Girampati, Ahankaras Tato Rudras, Chittam Chaityas Tato Bhavat. After the mind, the moon appeared. Intelligence appeared next. And after intelligence, Lord Brahma appeared. Then the false ego appeared, and then Lord Shiva, And after the appearance of Lord Shiva came consciousness and the deity presiding over consciousness. When Shukadeva Goswami first met Maharaj Parikshit and heard Maharaj's Parikshit's first questions, and Shukadeva Goswami was impelled and inspired to recite again the Srimad Bhagavatam, offering very beautiful prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead for the power to do so. That is nicely presented in the fourth chapter of the second canto, Shukadeva Goswami's prayers for invocation of Srimad Bhagavatam, which interestingly enough, Srila Prabhupada recorded solitary by himself, bhajan just playing cartels at 100 West 72nd Street here on the Upper West Side, where he resided for the first 6 months of his stay in New York City, from October 1965 till April 1966. Historical significance. So later, Shukadeva Goswami is describing the transcendental state of labdo pashanti. That is what is life in the spiritual world. There is no effects of devastating time. None of us like to get old. None of us like to have our body diminish and crinkle and just disintegrate before our very eyes. Prabhupada would say that the so-called old man feels himself to be in the same spirit as a young man. Why? Because the soul is the witness to the changes of the body, and the soul never changes, is always the same constitutionally. Of course, changing in terms of the variety of spiritual humors and relationships with Krishna based on one's constitutional position. That ever new variety is most desirable, and that is the perfection of life. And that ultimately is what is described here in basic form, the original identity of the living entity. So there's no devastating time, and there are no demigods, because only in that transcendental world, there's only one controller and one enjoyer. So when we have a problem with that, envy Krishna for being the supreme controller and the supreme enjoyer, we want to be the controller, we want to be the enjoyer, so we are sent to this material world, as Prabhupada says in one place, to try our luck freely. It is, hope against hope, something that will never come true. So, what seems to take a long time to become purified, one young devotee, young at the time, 1975, in Melbourne, Australia, Prabhupada's visit there was very nicely captured on film. Did I lose the place here? Asked Srila Prabhupada, we've been in this material world for such a long time and we have so much bad karma. How long does it take to become purified? In 1 minute, immediately. It's just a question of accepting the fact. In the very early days, I believe it was San Francisco, just somebody out of the clear blue sky stood up and asked, Swamiji, can I be initiated? And Prabhupada said, first answer these questions. Who are you? I am spirits, or what are you? I am spirit soul, and what is your duty? My duty is to serve. Yes, you can be initiated tomorrow. So that is the point. So What's being described here is the expansion or descent of the three principal demigods. The moon appeared after the appearance of mind, and this indicates that the moon is the presiding deity of mind. It doesn't come out directly saying by meditation on the moon, who ultimately is Lord Chaitanya, one becomes supremely purified. In one of the later chapters of the Krishna book, there is an attempt to try to understand who is the supreme deity. Is it Lord Vishnu? Is it Lord Brahma? Or is it Lord Shiva? And the sages elected or headed by Bhrigu Muni dispatched him to try to find out. And their method was to try to see what type of response they would get, they would be given by making a offense and in degree of severity one after the other. Lord Brahma was approached first, and the mental offense was that he didn't offer proper respect, physically or within his mind. Disrespected, and Lord Brahma picked up on that, and he became angry, visibly being able to see in his facial expressions and bodily manifestation. But Lord Brahma controlled himself from further getting angry. So it was understood by that Lord Brahma is in the mode of passion. And certainly Lord Brahma, because he is in charge of all the different living entities. We were hearing previously how Lord Brahma is manifesting the universe and all the different types of species of life. So activities outside of Krishna consciousness in the material world are in the mode of passion and ignorance. Then Lord Shiva was approached, and he is the brother of Bhrigu Muni, and he actually verbally insulted him with uncalled for harsh words, and Lord Shiva became actually angry and had to be ultimately restrained from assaulting Bhrigu Muni. Next, Lord Vishnu. Bhrigu Muni actually physically assaulted Lord Vishnu. And the response that Lord Vishnu gave was to beg forgiveness in humility from Bhrigu Muni, fearing that his hard chest would give pain to Bhrigu Muni's soft feet. Would we see such a response from anyone in this world of people getting into a fight? The first person who threw the first punch or did the first blow, the person who received the blow, would they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope that your fist or your foot is not in pain after kicking me"? We could do like a street theater and put that play on, and people would just be dumbfounded. Of course, Lakshmi Devi was not very pleased with that, and she subsequently cursed Bhrigu Muni and the Brahmanas, who Bhrigu Muni is supposed to be, that they will always be bereft of her mercy in the form of not being very, very rich. I spent some years in Boston and did the deity worship of Shri Shri Radha Gopi Vallabha, who are of the same caste as the original Radha Madhava in Mayapur. And here on his chest, they have the mark of Bhrigu Muni's footprint. I wonder if Radha Madhava and Mayapur have the same. There's thumb up on that? Huh? Our Radha Krishna have two? Wow. Okay. Lord Shiva, who appears after false ego, is the presiding deity of false ego. In other words, it's indicated that the moon god is in the mode of goodness, whereas Lord Brahma is in the mode of passion, and Lord Shiva is in the mode of ignorance. So this is why we say in the 10 offenses that to consider demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, to be equal to, or what to speak of, even a worse offense, independent of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu, Krishna, is supreme. And you see throughout the Vedic literatures, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna book, Lord Brahma, he steals the calves and cowherd boys, misunderstanding who Krishna is. He comes to his senses and understands. Indra, he practically wanted to do genocide, crimes against humanity upon the residents of Vrindavan by sending the devastating rainfall, etc., etc. So the demigods are not very wise personalities to place one's faith or allegiance or loyalty with, because they really ultimately are not perfect in staying on the right path, and there's the danger that they'll do the wrong thing. One disciple of Srila Prabhupada expressed his great love for Srila Prabhupada and said that, "I trust you, Srila Prabhupada, you will never cheat me." And the way Prabhupada responded to that was very amazing, according to that devotee, that time and circumstance. "Do not trust me. I may even cheat you, but if you trust Krishna, Krishna will never cheat you. He'll never let you down." Then Prabhupada very nicely goes on to describe the purificatory process from this false ego is called Krishna consciousness. As soon as one receives the mercy of Krishna's representative, or Krishna oneself, Krishna himself, one is immediately given the opportunity to engage in pure devotional service. So if one is engaging in pure devotional service, how can one be engaged in Maya or being under the false ego? And Prabhupada says, for example, in the first canto, to become restless in the association of wealth and women, opposite sex or same sex or whatever sex these days. They're trying to, anybody could use any bathroom according to gender expression. So there was one funny sign that, like the stick figures of this is a man, this is a woman, this is a child, this is a baby carriage, whatever. So they had like all different pictures of all different kind of whatever they are. And finally it said, whatever, just wash your hands. What was that? What's the point I'm trying to make? What was it? Yes, of wealth in women is not at all an astonishment, because one has been associated with these things from a very remote time, practically immemorial, and it takes time to recover from the foreign atmosphere. So amazing is the process of Krishna consciousness given to us by Srila Prabhupada in this Kali Yuga. We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just that we may accept you as captain of this ship to guide us across this dangerous ocean of Kali Yuga, which deteriorates all the good qualities of the human being. And I think all of us have lived long enough to see this deterioration process going on in a very rapid and alarming rate. I think I saw in the 12th canto, in the very beginning, in naming what is the canto, like here, third canto, the status quo. So 12th canto is entitled The Age of Deterioration. that you are given immediately. You understand your identity. You are part and parcel of Krishna, and your duty is to serve. And you are fortunate. Now go out and make others fortunate. So that was the immediately. Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Vishnu Jan Maharaj, they'd roll into a campus, and Vishnu Jan would set up his most beautiful, amazing, mystifying darshan of Shishi Radha Damodar, along with all, you know, far out instruments and just doing nonstop kirtan. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj and others would pick out who they thought were worthy candidates, and practically that day they'd be on the bus, and that would be it. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was Prabhupada's GBC secretary in India for 4 long years, and he kind of got burned out and fried out and wanted to return to America, and Prabhupada was having difficulty without him there. And on visit to Chicago, Prabhupada became very heavy with Tamal Krishna Maharaj and insinuated that he should come back to India. He said, "But Prabhupada, I'm preaching." And Prabhupada said, "What is this preaching?" And then soon thereafter, Tamal Krishna brought in 12 brand new men who had just been taken from their preaching, shaved up, put in saffron, and just barely were taught, like within the last half hour, Prabhupada's pranam mantra. And they all came in one after another, paid full dandavat, said Prabhupada's pranam mantra, and put a beautiful full-blown rose on Prabhupada's desk. And as each subsequent young man came in, Prabhupada's face just started beaming more and more and more. And he said, "Yes, this is preaching. This is very nice. You stay here." So were these young men freshly shaved up and just learned to say Prabhupada's pranam mantra? Were they pure devotees? Perhaps not, or probably not. But beginning the process of Krishna consciousness, the goal is immediately assigned. Just like here, we're sitting in this room right now, and we all decide together as a big group, let's go to San Francisco. Yay! So, and we got San Francisco on our mind. We're all like fired up, but there's a lot of things we have to do. How are we going to get there? Are we going to fly out there? Are we going to rent a bus? Do we want to fly out there, or do we want to see the country? Do we want to go the southern route down along Interstate 40 through Texas and then down to I-20 and I-10 and see, the Grand Canyon? Or do we want to do the northern route and see the Rocky Mountains? Or do we want to go even further up and come down through like Montana, Idaho, Seattle, et cetera, et cetera? And then how are we going to pay for the gas and where are we going to stay and blah, blah, blah. So there's many things that we have to take into consideration. How long is it going to take? Are we all free? Nobody has anything else to do if we're all going to be a team like this. So, but what the goal, but we're just so fired up to go to San Francisco that whatever, you know, hitch in the giddy up there is, we'll overcome it and we'll keep going. So in the same way, we all want to go back home, back to Godhead. We all want to achieve our original spiritual body in perfection of Krishna consciousness. And we all want to unite with all our God brothers and God sisters and our predecessors and our contemporaries and our juniors. Devotee offers obeisances to devotees. I offer my obeisances to my predecessors, to the current devotees, and all who will become devotees in the future. I bow down and take the dust of all of their lotus feet. We should try not to fall into this I'm a senior devotee mentality, and because I'm joined, or I got initiated 10 minutes before you, Prabhu, therefore I'm better than you, and I'm going to hold that down forever and ever on you, even back to Godhead. I was initiated 10 minutes before you. Um, what if we come back again and take another birth or life in this world for whatever reason? Either we have more to work out or for some divine purpose. Well, then we'll be the so-called junior devotee to those who are already there and senior. So, and the going to San Francisco that we're all completely fired up about, I might want to go see the Japanese gardens. The other one might want to go to see Golden Gate Park. Somebody might want to go see Alcatraz Island, et cetera, et cetera. There's many things to do. So my motivation to go to Goloka Vrindavan, your motivation in this purified state, there's going to be differences, but the unifying reason that we're all together is to go to San Francisco or to please Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to please Radha and Krishna. And within that team effort, all of our individual desires will be fulfilled beyond even our expectation of how we would like our desires to be fulfilled. As soon as the consciousness is purified, the false ego disappears. Identification of the body with the self is called false identification or false ego. Lord Chaitanya confirms this in the Shishastaka. He states that the first result of chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, is that dirt is cleared from the consciousness or the mirror of the mind, and then at once the blazing fire of material existence is over. Lord Brahma in his prayers in the 14th chapter, the 10th canto, a very beautiful verse describing that one who has taken shelter of Krishna, Murari, that this ocean of material existence shrinks down to be no more significant than the water contained in the hoof print of a calf. Interesting. That's our machinery what is it? Oh, that's okay. So Krishna had just stolen the calves and cowherd boys. And the so-called 1 year that had passed, then Krishna passed on, became 1 year older. So Lord Brahma had that in his mind. And throughout those prayers, he's just glorifying the supreme position of Krishna as a cowherd boy, who he mistook for just being a cowherd boy, not understanding him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what to speak of his personal master, who initiated him with Gayatri and gave him orders what to do in this universe. So the material existence shrinks down, and that water in the calf that you step over, you're back home, back to Godhead. The blazing fire of material existence is due to false ego, but as soon as the false ego is removed, one can understand his real identity. In the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, this is in Srimad Bhagavatam. When the living entity declares himself to be a non-devotee, he's understood that such a person is in a diseased condition of life. Yes, in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, living entities in their pure state are called devotees. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared on the full moon day as Gaura Chandra, or the spotless transcendental moon. The material moon has spots on it, but the transcendental moon, Gaura Chandra, On the transcendental moon, Gaura Chandra, there are no spots. In order to fix the purified mind in the service of the Supreme Lord, one has to worship the spotless moon, Gaura Chandra. Spreading Krishna consciousness is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Therefore, his sincere devotees must carry out his desires. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya must spread and preach Krishna consciousness in every town and village of the world. That will satisfy the Lord. So Krishna has appeared as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this age of Kali to grant mercy upon us in this very precarious state of Kali Yuga, and to inaugurate the Yuga Dharma for this age, which is the Prema Nam Sankirtan movement of pure devotional service. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he concludes one of his most beautiful books. It's a separate writing. It's not part of Gita, I believe. Okay. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his prayer, Sri Gojuma Chandra Bhajana Upadesh, instructions for worshiping Lord Chaitanya, the moon of the island of Gojuma Dweep. 20 very beautiful prayers, and they all conclude with the refrain, just worship the beautiful moon of Gojum's forest flowers. Let's look at a few. The taste of mundane poetry never provides the sweet taste of actual poetry. The sweet mellows of true poetry are verily found in descriptions of Lord Gaura, the savior of all souls in the Kali Yuga. The diligent study of all other topics is useless. Just worship the beautiful moon of Gojum's forest bowers. In the midst of Nam Sankirtan, surrounded by his loving associates, he's the same dark Lord Hari, but now shining with the luster of molten gold. He's the exclusive ocean of mercy for his own Gaudiya devotees. Just worship the beautiful moon of Gojum's forest bowers. His mood is that of wielding a stick for chasing away the mad dog of Kali Yuga. He is absorbed in distributing the holy name of Krishna, the great remedy for material existence. His heart is melted with compassion for the fallen souls who are suffering, and his transcendental form is very beautiful. Just worship the beautiful moon of Gojum's forest bowers. He is the most excellent of avatars, and within him exists the consummate expansions of Godhead. He is the supreme truth, enjoying himself here in great playfulness. He embodies the most confidential mellows flowing within the ocean of rasa in Brajadam. Just worship the beautiful moon of Gojum's forest bowers. Narottam Das Thakur has given us, if one says, let me dive deep into the loving mellows of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, then at once one becomes a confidential associate of Radha and Krishna. O friend, without the devotional performance of purely intense bhajan, your vast scholarship, noble family lineage, wealth, and so on are completely ineffective for invoking the mercy of the Lord. With a service attitude that is unmotivated, just worship the beautiful moon of Gojum's forest bowers. The multitude of worldly desires, philosophical meditations on the impersonal oneness of all beings, as well as the relative conceptions of what is auspicious or inauspicious, utterly renounce all of these things, and in a favorable mood, while rendering loving devotional service, just worship the beautiful moon of Gojum's forest bowers. Remaining fixed in the service of the Lord's servants, being addicted to drinking the sweet nectar of the holy name of Krishna, and endowed with modesty, humility, and compassion, offering all respect unto others, just worship the beautiful moon of Gojum's forest bowers. Please go to the forest of Lord Gauranga, divided into 9 islands. Please read and recite with great joy the pastimes of Lord Gaurhari. Roll about in ecstasy on the bank of the river Ganga, marked with the footprints of Lord Gaura, and just worship the beautiful moon of Gojum's forest bowers. The devotees in the service of Krishna consciousness worship the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. Manasas Chanjama Jato Budhir Girampati Ahankarastato Rudras Chittam Chaityastato Bhavat. After the mind, the moon appeared, intelligence appeared next, and after intelligence, Lord Brahma appeared. Then the false ego appeared, and then Lord Shiva. And after the appearance of Lord Shiva came consciousness and the presiding deity over consciousness. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Any question or comment? Krishna Kripa has something to contribute. Maybe you can just speak loud because this is taking too long.
Yeah, the further pastimes in chapter 89, Krishna looked for people on a beach.
What is that called? The super excellent
Yeah, super excellent something.
power of Lord Krishna.
Yeah, it's super excellent power of Lord Krishna. And it's 4:11:20 is that
What's that chapter called? 11th chapter, 4th canto?
it's the thing about trying your luck. I put it in my blog because I thought it's a nice quote. Let me just scroll up to it here.
That Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead.
I'll check. Let's just read. Living entities, however, are not independent, and as soon as they declare their independence of the Supreme Controller, they're immediately put into this material world to try their luck freely as far as possible.
Prabhupada says in one place, they're immediately handed over to Maya, just like naughty boys are given plain cradles.
That one, 11 is Swayam Pulamanu advises Dhruva Maharaj to stop fighting.
Svayam Bhuvamanu what?
Advises Dhruva Maharaj to stop
Dhruva Maharaj, okay.
Yeah. And just one question. So Lord Shiva is a very sort of controversial person because here it's saying he's in the mode of ignorance, but it's also said he's the topmost devotee and that he's transcendently situated. So would you care to say anything about that?
He takes charge of the mode of ignorance, just like somebody has to be in charge of the prison, but that doesn't mean that in their private life or in their aspiration that they just want to be in that mode or consciousness all the time, just like kind of regular people, like they do whatever dead-end job, they got to do it, but at the end then they go home and they got their phantasmagoria set up as they like it, and then, they enjoy Friday and Saturday, and then Monday morning comes along and I got to go back to work. Anyway, that's mundane, but just who is Lord Brahma? Lord Brahma becomes Brahma Haridas and becomes, as Prabhupada uses the nice words in his earlier writings, I believe, maybe Introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam, short sketch of the life of Lord Chaitanya. The dean or authority of the chanting of the holy name, or Haridas Thakur, he says in another place later on, he was pleased to accept his birth in a Mohammedan family. From Lord Brahma to becoming born in a Mohammedan family, that's quite a materially calculated step down. But he became the dearmost devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it's described the devotional service of these two persons, Haridas Thakur and Advaita Acharya, caused Krishna to descend as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, see me, he made the offense, stealing the calves and cowherd boys. But that doesn't mean, it's not like eternal damnation. You did this and you have to wear the scarlet letter of shame on you for the rest of eternity. You know, Nathaniel Hawthorne, right? And Prabhupada himself demonstrated like that. If there was some serious mistake or offense that a devotee made, it was rectified, the devotee was set right, and it was never referred to again. And if any of the god brothers or god sister tried to, like, you know, Prabhupada wouldn't even want to hear it, and he'd be upset with the person bringing that up, more so even than the person who did the original mistake or offense. So everyone will have their better day in the course of eternity, and we keep a light in the window for everyone. But at the same time, in our immediate circumstances, we don't want people who are in a condition where they can't behave properly, properly based on, what we have to do and when we have to do it and how much stuff we have to do it all with. If it takes our time and energy and resources too much because of their particular condition, then, we have to kind of make that call, whether it's in the temple or whether it's out on the battlefield or whatever. We got to keep the wheels moving. All right, so something more or quick? We went over time and over time. Hare Krishna.